There's candy on the water. How sweet the evening slaughters. They of building nests, impressions of our Sunday best. There's candy on the water, and all the love gets caught here. Oh, how to eat the sky before the feeling dies. See, we can't fool ourselves. From the clouds, I want to show to my sleeping soul. This pink will burn your mouth, your foolish child. I've always had music in my life. I've always been surrounded by people to whom music is very important. So growing up there was always music kind of in the house and in the bedrooms and in the car and in the kitchen. And my mum played piano and sang, and my uncles played guitar, and my dad also plays guitar. And I was extremely obsessed with singing, quite annoyingly so, I think. At that point, I just sang where I could, so I joined all of the choirs and I did all of the school plays. And I don't think I was very good, but I was very committed. And I think I kind of learned by mimicking the artists that I loved. And then at some point, I wanted to kind of be writing my own stuff. And so I learned to play guitar when I was about 16, so that I could do that. And once I could play guitar, I started writing. I think you need to know like 2 chords to write songs. That's still what I use to write songs. Yeah, and that kind of became a very important and natural relationship for me. Then I went to university and I studied drama. I started studying music and drama, but I found the music course to be a little bit stagnant, but I kept writing. And when I was done with university, I came to Cape Town and I recorded my first record and slowly started forming my band, and I've pretty much been doing that since then. Yeah, I always wanted a band, but I think one of the lovely things about music is that you can, or at least in the way that I was doing it as a songwriter, is that you can start in your bedroom and slowly build it up. And I think there's a kind of a feeling, like a heart or a core of a song, which I think comes from for me, the lyrical content and the melody, but there's a whole range of emotion that's missing that the band can then fill in and expand on. And for me, music is so much about atmosphere and mood, which is very difficult to achieve without a band. So yeah, I mean, when I started working with the band, I felt like I could, like you can just expand, the world becomes so much more expansive. There's a lot more space and yeah, just a kind of freedom. Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that I wanted to record the new record, it was kind of a mad rush, but I really wanted to do it because I knew that my headspace and my actual space was going to shift so much when I moved to Berlin. And I was nervous that that feeling and that collection of material would disappear. And it has, I mean, my kind of, everything has shifted, obviously. It's such a drastic move. And it's funny, actually, I had this sort of expectation that, I mean, there's this kind of pressure when you move to Berlin in terms of it being this really creative space. And I was curious and anxious to know what would happen to my songwriting. And to be honest, when I first moved here, it was so overwhelming that I didn't dare try and write for the first few months. But luckily I did again. And it is very interesting to see what comes out. There's a lot of strangers and a lot of furniture in my new songs for some reason. But yeah, there's definitely a shift, which is really lovely and exciting. So I did a tour with Laura Carbone. I don't say her name properly or nicely, Laura. It's a very beautiful name, but I can't say it very well. I did a tour with her, opening for her, and it was really good and really lovely in a lot of ways, for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons was that I was able to play for a new audience. And Ina, who works for Unique, was at the first show, and then Thomas from Schubert Publishing was at the Berlin show, and we spoke, and he actually connected Ina and I, and she had happened to be at that show, so it was kind of serendipitous, I guess. No, I definitely don't feel more pressure. If anything, it's really good. A collaboration for me makes all of this possible and manageable. I really, to work on every level creatively and in all aspects. I mean, I like to think of it all as creatively, even the more tedious stuff, but it's really good and meaningful for me to work with people. And I'm really happy to also be working with someone. There's no kind of feeling of all of the people that I'm working with knew what I was doing when we kind of began the conversation, and so there's an understanding of what that is, and it's not trying to convince somebody about that I do things in a particular way or that So no, not at all. It's quite a relief. I kind of feel like this record is the one that I possibly should have made first, but I don't think I was ready or brave enough to do something so stripped. And so I've been working with different musicians and different players, and I think it's the first time I've had the confidence to make something that's really bare. And I guess I came about because I was listening to the kind of stuff that I like to believe I made now, which was literally when I was in bed at night, kind of needing some companionship or something. I wasn't so conscious of it then, but I was listening to a lot of singer-songwriters. And then I think the stuff that I was writing just subconsciously ended up being like that, and then when I became conscious of that, I decided I wanted to make a record like that. It's the first time I've made a record with such a clear intention in mind, and I don't know if it's going to read like that, but I kind of hope there's kind of a conversation that you have at some point with a friend or a lover very late at night in bed. You're kind of whispering into the night, and this stuff comes up, soft stuff comes up that you can speak about only in those kind of hours of the night. And this is supposed to be the other end of that conversation when it's not possible for your friend or your lover to be there, or the feeling is not right, or that's kind of what I want the record to be.
the smallest taste of what will be. Candy says I the big decisions that cause endless revisions in my mind. I'm gonna watch bluebirds fly over my shoulder. I'm gonna watch them pass me by. Maybe when